Welcome everybody to another episode of the Mental Wealth Podcast. Listen, this is a show where we talk about investments, man. You know, ching, 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 clink, 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 ching, ching, $sign, cash ready. What how the OJ said. But you know, not them kind of investments. We're talking about the investments that last a little bit longer than money. We're talking about the investments of your soul, right? On this show, we address the really tough topics plaguing our society today. And we try to, you know, just talk about them. We want to make it comfortable to discuss things that it's hard to agree on and find ways that we can invest in ourselves and each other. I'm one of your hosts, Jay Floyd. They call me Coach Big Bro. I'm a life coach. I'm a motivational speaker, or as I like to say, I'm a motivational listener. I know, right? I'm
That's different.
that.
What's the difference?
Well, yeah, you know, it's because when you're coaching, you know how it goes. You listen more than you talk.
Yeah.
So I'm a motivational listener. I know how to key in on things that people are really feeling, even if they're not really saying it. So I can help them get to where they're going.
That's good.
I'm also a leader in the data and tech industry. That's my area. You know, I'm always all up in tech and data, helping people who might want to transition from another industry into tech or specifically into data. Shout out to the Black in Tech Twitter tags. Shout out to Black Women in Tech. Shout out to all that because it's blowing up right now and I love it. I'm also the author of The Driver's Seat, How to Get Out of the Backseat of Your Life and Drive in Your God-Given Purpose. Sitting right next to me, who is this? What's going on?
Hey, Jay, first of all, I am Clo Mac, also affectionately known as your sister, girlfriend, cousin, if you ride with me on Facebook every Tuesday.
You know what it is.
And I am a teacher of 28 years, but more importantly, I am an empowerment coach. And I coach people who are professionals and leaders in ministry or just leaders in their business, leaders in their home on how to get unstuck by challenging the way they think.
A lot of people stuck.
A lot of people stuck. And they don't even know they're stuck. So that's the thing.
That's the key.
Yeah.
So they got to come to you.
Yeah, they have to come to me. Yes, because it's already in there. And that's what they find.
Just bringing it out.
All I do is bring it out.
Listen, that's what most people don't know about coaches, man. Look, we are not people sitting out here like, we got the magic answer. Come to us and we will tell you, we're going to tell you how to live your life. Listen, we ain't Steve Harvey. Did I say that? But I said, listen, we ain't Steve Harvey, man. Life coaches really help you make your own decision.
Absolutely.
We ain't up in here to tell you what you need to be doing. We here to help you make your own move.
Yes.
You know? And that's the key. I think a lot of people are hesitant to go to coaches because they be thinking people are going to tell them what to do.
And Jay, they know they need them. Somewhere like deep down in your pinky toe, you know that you've been stuck and you know that you need someone to coach you, someone where you can be yourself. I tell my clients, I'm like your intercessor, best friend / coach / peanut gallery, all wrapped in one, but I'm here to challenge you.
Who
You don't pay me that. Everybody needs to be challenged, right? So it's a great thing. I know I love what I do and I know you love what you do.
Absolutely. Speaking of loving what I do, this is the part where we give an update on what we've been up to. And I just got to say, man, you know, brother just flew back from Cali, you know what I'm saying? Cali.
And his job paid for it.
They did. They did on the company dime. I don't know if y'all could see the chocolatey tan. I packed on like 3 new shades. 3 new shades.
You packed them on.
Yeah, you know, because, you know, let's talk about the mental wealth of it all, right?
Yeah.
You know, growing up, you get darker. That was a bad thing.
Yes.
Hey, don't be getting, look at you, man. You black. You blackity black.
Right.
You dark. You African booty scratcher. You know how it go.
I have not heard that one.
Come on. Everybody done heard African booty. I'm just saying, at this level of mental wealth, I packed on them 3 shades. When I came back with them feeling like royalty up in this piece. We were on pause.
Yeah.
So the last one in Orlando, I missed it. This one popped up in San Diego. Wasn't gonna miss it for the world. They flew us out there. Beautiful, beautiful event. We stayed in a resort. The Town and Country Resort was really dope. Shout out to the city of San Diego. Y'all have some beautiful, oh my goodness.
The
and
weather.
the real estate though, like you know, houses in the hills. I was like, yo, but yeah, the weather. That's why there's so much dope real estate there. Because when you're a bajillionaire, you're going to move where it's 75 every day, right? You ain't going to be in places where it's cold. So yeah, shout out to that, man. We went kayaking on the ocean, which I never thought I would do.
Kayaking, you know, said black people don't kayak. Yes, we do.
Listen.
And bungee jump.
Listen, my manager is a black woman, and she was the most active one. She got out there like, she live in Miami, so she's used to this.
So the kayaking is that thing like this. Oh, you know what I was thinking? White water rafting.
No, we didn't do that.
Kayaking is the thing like this.
It's like real skinny. It's like about this wide.
Yeah.
And you sit one person in the back, one person in the front. You got the oar thing, and you got to do this. Boom, boom, boom.
And you got to get on one.
You got to get on one accord.
Rhythm.
And that's what they told us. They was like, yo, you're going to be in a relationship with the other person.
Ooh, that's so funny.
Y'all got to communicate. Yeah, y'all got to communicate.
Yes.
Because to go left, you got to paddle on the right.
Okay.
So you gotta be doing all of that, and you got to do it together, though.
And you got to do.
And see, my thing when we started, my man, shout out to my man Charlie was sitting in front of me, right? And
so it was just y'all two?
Just ours two, and there's only two people in the kayak.
Okay.
So my thing was, so we wouldn't have to communicate and talk to each other and shout it out. I was like, yo, you go, because he had done it before.
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to follow your lead.
Okay.
So wherever he was going, I would boom and boom. And we didn't get nowhere. We was going super slow.
What?
And I'm
Why?
like, wow. And then it started to dawn on me. It's because I'm just mimicking him. So I'm like his shadow.
Yeah.
So he'll go one side and I hit the same side like a half a second later. But what that means is we never going at the same time. So his strength and my strength are never multiplied. It's like him, me. It's never both of us. Boom, boom. So we was going, but we was slow. Yeah, so but I figured it out, and then we started communicating and talking. But again, that kind of leads into real life. I don't like talking on the phone. I like to text. You
think it's because of your tech thing that you like to text?
I think it's probably because of my anxiety thing.
Okay.
Right?
Good point.
Yeah, growing up with anxiety disorders, I think has led me. I don't like talking on the phone. Phone conversations feel awkward for me.
So wait a minute, how did you date? Okay, we're not gonna get into the marriage thing right away. But were you like date texting? I mean, I know she want to hear your voice that smooth as that. Not like, yeah, baby, what you doing? Like, you know, I missed you. You can't text that and make it feel good.
Yeah. So I say all that to say, great bucket list adventure. I wouldn't do it again. But I'm glad I did it once, because then I got to come home and tell my kids I did something I was scared to do. I made it through it. I saw something further than my parents ever thought I would see.
That's true.
So it was something good to do, you know what I mean?
That's true.
I was out on the ocean. I mean, can't even believe, if I was to tell my parents that, they would have been like, what?
What you trying to do that white stuff for?
Exactly.
We're always being accused of doing white stuff. Now, what is white stuff?
On the ocean.
What is white stuff? So I have been, first of all, yesterday was my last day from school. Wow. So I am officially on summer break, but I've been also working on my book, planning some workshops for teachers. Speaking of out on the ocean. So I had talked to a particular school district. I believe we said I'm a teacher, and I talked to a particular school district about some things I wanted to do there. And it's like this divine, why do you need their permission to do it? You actually can create this program on your own and offer to teachers from all over the state.
Did anybody say that to you, or it just came to you?
God is like, boop, just do it. So I'm like, what? Like what? Totally out on the ocean, right? Willing to take those waves. So I've been working with my business coach on that, working on my book, and really just,
wait, you got a business coach?
Yes.
Shout out. I mean, you can't just gloss over that.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I have a business coach. Shout out to Manny Hall.
Shout out to Manny. Plus, that's my homeboy, Manny Hall.
Yes.
Shout out to mental wealth, man. That's mental wealth.
Yes.
Knowing when to go get a business coach.
Yes.
You didn't just start a business and let it flounder.
No.
You said, I'm going to go get a coach and do this right.
Yeah. And he's really been attacking the mindset. And he said he thought initially coming in that it was going to be about how to save up money, because eventually I want to be off of my job doing this full time. And so we've been talking a lot about mindset and belief, and the big, huge part belief, as well as limiting beliefs, play in where we are now in life and where we want to go. And so I'm like, you know what? This is my summer. Said, Chloe, if you do not use this summer to really work on conceptualizing your dreams and your goals, you would be foolish. And so he has challenged me. And that's what I've been working on, and then working up finishing my book because I'll be 50 in October.
That
so
book.
Y'all invited to my birthday party and my book launch. Ow, ow. So yeah, that book that women are waiting on. So Fitty.
And the book. I love it, man. Life changes.
That's what I'm working on.
Yes. Oh, yo, before we move on, I wanted to shout out two speakers. We had some Black women speakers at our retreat, right? So it was a full week of conferences and kicking it, but we also got some real meat out of it, right? So shout out to Coach Letitia Bird from Perfecta, which is performance, equity, and talent. They handle all that diversity, equity, belonging, and inclusion stuff. It was really great. And shout out to Brittany Hunter, the CEO and founder of Mogul Millennial. Mogul Millennial. They build a catalog and library of Black inclusive video content on the internet because there's not a lot of that.
That's a lot. Shout out, ladies. We doing a thing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So and shout out to my man Manny Hall, the business coach you need to holler at.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So what we got on the slate for the people today?
Some Johnny Gill. My. We got that.
You requested this, Clo.
I did. The divorce one. Hey, look, you're going to get some good content, okay? Because he's in a successful marriage. I'm divorced and wanting to be married again. Men.
Y'all heard that? Yo, shout out to the producer, my man Maestro. Yo, drop some sound effects in there for that one. Y'all heard her. You know, she is single, ready to mingle. Y'all heard that.
I did. You know what led to this? Because we were talking about the Will Smith issue and how to protect the Black woman. In some kind of way, we got into marriage. And Jay and I always have these great discussions about marriage and what it means. And so I said, we need to talk about it. Let's go there.
We do need to talk about it. And
what are you thinking?
First of all, my apologies to the mental wealth audience, the mental millionaires out there. I intended to put this out earlier so that y'all can give us some questions. I wanted that. So now I'm going to ask y'all for a response after y'all listen to this. Please give us your thoughts. If you agree with us, don't agree with us, you got some other ideas, you want to share some things, your story of marriage, let us know. This is what the whole show is about, discussion.
It is.
We need more open discussion, more what my company calls default to transparency. Let's do it. All right, so shout out to Kenya Hampton, who's also a life coach. And she gave us some questions and topics she wanted us to hit.
Well, are you really?
Yeah, look at that. 1 hour ago.
You better go ahead, Miss Hampton. We going there. All
right, so marriage. First of all, what do you think about marriage, Clo? What does it make you feel like? In your space, in your life?
In my space, in my life, it makes me feel amazing, which is just evidence of the healing that I've done, coming out of a dysfunctional marriage, coming out of a childhood where I saw there's nobody in my family right now who's married. And I have like maybe 5 aunties, nobody. Not grandma. My mother wasn't married when she passed away, was not married to my dad. It's 3 of us with 3 different fathers. Shout out heavenly love, mama. But she's so transparent with that. So I know some people would think like, you telling your stuff, she would totally, she would tell it. So this isn't a bash on her at all. But even coming from that, still admiring seeing marriage that works, especially through the hard stuff. Like, I love marriage. I love partnership. I love love. I love commitment. So I still have really, really good, but not idealistic visions of what marriage is. I know it's beyond the orgasm. It's beyond the pretty wedding dress. It's beyond the fights and the vacations and the man crush Mondays, but your soul can't stand them. But you man crushing Monday. So it's beyond that. I still see the beauty of marriage.
Social media has an effect on marriage, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I think for me, marriage, man, wow. In my life, I've been very blessed to have a beautiful wife who helped me. We changed each other's lives, right? I wasn't always a big fan of marriage, but I can say right now I am.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't, I'm like you. I didn't grow up. My parents literally got divorced because of me. You know, they had already had some issues. The moment I was born, my dad was holding me and he said, I'm going to raise this one my way. And my mom was like, no, you ain't. And they split up. I was 2 months old.
Are you serious? So this is true story.
True story. I was 2 months. So the only time I've ever seen my parents in the same room is in child support court. They wouldn't be in the same room together. It's just not, I've never seen them have conversations, nothing. So I grew up in that. So I didn't have a positive view on marriage. So it was difficult for me to navigate my own life to get to marriage.
Okay.
So I had a, false start in there. But after getting there, man, the first couple of years is a doozy.
Were they just getting used to each other? What do you think was your biggest struggle your first couple of years?
You know what? Getting to know myself. This is the thing. And, at my age, I'm 46 years old, y'all. Shout out to that. Make me a superhero as a black man, right? Listen, none of us really know ourselves, right? Like that's the great mystery. God knows us because he manufactured us, but we don't know ourselves. Like I'm not Jay. That's a name that was put on me, and I've built a persona that I tend to like around what I think my identity is. But God really know who I am.
Yeah.
All the stuff I might hide from people, all the stuff I hide from myself.
Yeah.
Stuff I don't even want to think about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when you get married, it's an impossible task of taking two bodies and operating in one flesh. And when you do that, well, first you got to know what your flesh is. Well, you got to come to grips with some things about yourself that you've been hiding. When you're a single man and when you're dating, you can hide a lot of your own mess from yourself. Yeah. But if you want to have a successful marriage, you can't. And that was the hardest thing for me. I'll wrap it up like this, understanding what real honesty is. I had no idea at all. Life had never prepared me for the real definition of honesty. I thought I was an honest person because my mom told me I was a good dude and she raised me to be a gentleman. But that did not make me
honesty on in there. Like I must be.
That just automatically makes you honest, right? I'm a good guy. I'm polite. I got manners. I know how to treat a woman the way that my mom told me to. But there's way more layers to it.
You had to go deep. So it's like my girlfriend said. It's like a mirror. When you get married, they're going to show you, whether they bring it up or you just notice. They're going to show you yourself. That's raw. When you're in the mirror, that's honesty right there. There's no like, oh, that's a pimple. These are bags. Your edge is thinning. You gained a little weight. I mean, that's the most honest you can be is when you're standing. Look, okay. Hey. So it is that mirror. Yeah. Oh, and a lot of people are not. So here's the thing.
Okay, what's the thing?
Because we think that marriage is so like rainbows and unicorns and magically delicious that when we're confronted with that mirror in our spouses, we don't know how to handle that, and we could mistake the growing, the grooming of the marriage or whatever. I don't know what we would call it, but we can mistake that for, I'm not supposed to be married. When it's just that you cannot stomach being honest. You don't want the growth. You're like, I've never seen this about myself before. It must be like you. This. It's the finger pointing. So people, if they especially have idealized marriage to this in love, like I don't feel in love anymore because now I see myself for who I really am, but that's really not me, it's you. Then we will run, which is probably why the divorce rate is so high.
Big time. I mean, for one, I think it's cognitive dissonance, right? Like we think one thing. I remember when I was younger, I said something like, yo, this ain't fair. This thing that happened to me ain't fair. Yeah. And I remember my brother, God rest his soul, man, he was like one of the most profound people. He looked at me and was like, I told you life was fair. And I thought it was just like, some mean big brother thing he was saying. But I think about that all the time now, like, yo, how profound was that? Because what manual do you get in life that said, here's the rules. This is going to be fair.
Not even the Bible can promise you that.
Never. So why do we think that?
Yeah.
It's cognitive dissonance. Same thing in marriage. A lot of people leave marriage because they're like, I'm not happy.
Who told you marriage was about happiness?
Where is the definition of marriage that said a happy state of two human beings?
Yeah.
Where is that? Anywhere.
Yeah.
Marriage is stated as happy matrimony? Nah.
Yeah.
Holy matrimony. Happiness not in there. Okay. Holiness is in there.
Okay.
So you got to dig into what do holy mean?
Yeah. Come
right?
on.
Now we're talking about some things that we tend to run from. We're talking about sacrificing for the greater good. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about things that Jesus said, like dying to yourself.
But no, that's the opposite of happy. I'm supposed to be happy.
Absolutely. If you want happy, feel free to go like build the tradition of happy matrimony somewhere. But that's not what marriage is. It says holy matrimony. Holy. Sacrificing, dying to yourself.
Okay. What else? What else you think?
Presenting it as a tribute to something greater than you. That's holiness.
Yeah.
Being clean and presented as a tribute, dedicated to it for the sacredness of it, right?
Yeah.
Don't talk about how messy it is. It's going to be messy.
It is.
It's going to be messy.
It's going to be messy.
Right? That's holy matrimony. The funniest thing to me, and I wonder, and I did this myself, right?
Okay.
Why do people get married if they're not really into belief and faith and any kind of religion?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know because I used to question myself on that all the time because I was not a believer.
Okay.
Until I was 35 years old, I was not a believer. So why was I getting married? I don't know. What did them vows really mean to me if I don't believe in God? I don't know.
So it could be financial. It could be because now I see a lot of religious people getting it's buried and married in the burn. I don't want to be in fornication, so I'm just gonna get married. Like, baby.
I know they coming for me in the comments, but it's okay. But look, I'm cool with that. Here's my thing: if we're not defining it by something greater than us, then we're defining it by us.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so you talking about marriage? Okay, so
if I don't believe in God, but I'm getting married. That means I'm saying I'm going to define this. I want it to be what I say it is.
Jay, that's deep.
I want to be happy. I want a woman to cook for me 5 times a week. I want to have sex 8 times a week. I want to make all of these rules, right? You know what I'm saying? I want all of that. And if I don't get these things, well, maybe this ain't the right thing for me. I need to be out. Or we start, this is the big thing, man. We all do this. I know every married person out there can relate. You get into that big argument, that big one.
That big one.
The one you start saying, both of y'all saying stuff to
saying
cut.
Nasty
y'all
things.
cutting. You know, the tongue is a sword, cutting. First thing you think, this ain't the one.
I messed up.
I messed up.
I messed up. I did not see this.
We got to be out. We got to be out. And this is the thing. If you don't have no blueprint on what it looks like to work through problems. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every 2 people that have issues need to stay together. That ain't true at all. You got to enforce healthy boundaries for your life.
Yeah.
If somebody ain't giving you healthy boundaries for your life, you need to be out. Don't get me wrong. You don't need to put yourself in any kind of situation that's unhealthy and toxic. But there is something to resilience in marriage. Because the fact of the matter is, I know toxic is a buzzword. We are all toxic. All of us.
I always say everybody got a level of trifling. I don't care how long you rondo show, running around the church, speaking in tongues, how many ordinations you got, degrees. There's a level of trifling.
Please believe it.
I know my level of trifling.
We filthy rags, and I know. And again, when I speak on marriage, I'm gonna preface this all the time. I'm speaking from my own perspective.
Yeah.
Right. I am filthy rags. I know that. I know how grimy I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I have to look at it like, how can I look at anybody else without grace? Given how much grace I'm getting.
Come on.
So one of the things that we started to really learn when we really started to really get through year 2 and year 3 and year 4. And by the grace of God, we had some mentors with us, man, because we would have been done so too. Just like, you know, anybody, we'd have been done.
These were from your church?
From our church. We developed other married couples, older, who had been exactly where we was at. And they wasn't sugarcoating it like, y'all need to just pray it through, or y'all need to just hang in there. Nah, they was in the dirt with us. The absolute dirt.
Yeah. So they'll call you out on your stuff like, you handsome, but you wrong.
Straight up wrong.
But you wrong too. So these nuggets that we're dropping, remember, this is the mental wealth. These coins that we dropping, we need you to catch these. If you are a person who's struggling in your marriage, or who even wants to know, how do I successfully navigate a marriage? Before you get married, you might not even have a boo. The thing he said was mentors who are older, experienced, wiser, who have been where you are, that will call you out on your stuff. And that means that you have to be willing to embrace that. You got to be willing to embrace when you're wrong. If it's because, what did he say? Marriage is not about the way we define it, but it is about self-sacrifice. And sometimes pride is that sacrifice. Oh boy, I didn't think that means a lot of times.
That's almost the whole meal.
Right. So I want to say too, before we get to her questions, 2 things, ladies and men as well. One thing that I found that I really needed is to be able to, before we even get to marriage, is to be able to date healed. Because what happens is, when you're dating, I was looking for a man to fill some of them empty holes in my life that only God could fill, that only I could feel, that I needed to transform my mind about. And what happens is, I'm meeting women who date hurt, they marry hurt, and then at some point on their journey, they get healed, and you turn over and look at him like, I can't believe I picked this fool. I can't believe I did this. Yeah. You must, before you, even if you're engaged right now, honey, prolong the wedding. Before you marry anyone, make sure that you are at least in a good place of your journey of healing, because dating healed, you know how to set those boundaries. You know how to look for those red flags. You know how to walk away. Like, we ain't got to argue. We ain't got to fight. You're just not my person. You're not a bad dude, but I just need to step away. So give yourself a chance to date healed, please. And you know where you broken. You might not know how you got broken, but we know all our levels of trifling. We know our levels of trifling. The other thing, too, I wanted to say is about the importance of premarital counseling. And Jay, you can speak to this as well, because that objective person, and let me tell you this is how you do this. Of course, you want to be honest, but the second thing is, you want to make sure that you're not going into the counselor's office already having made your decision. Go into it like, I love him. I really, really think I want to. Yeah, it's okay to go to counseling even if you're beginning to think about marriage. Say, babe, you know what? I know we're not engaged yet. I ain't trying to rush, but let's start counseling just so we can begin to pick apart. So
if you already know, it's really too late.
Yeah, so go in there open. Even if you got the day set, the deposit down, baby, you know you got the carrot cake jumping off, the DJ gonna be spinning the tunes from the 80s. When you walk into counseling, be open to the possibility that you might walk out like, I love you, but we're not ready. Or I love you, but you're not my person.
That's the only way to really get to me.
That's the only way, Jay. You got to have an open mind about this thing, because you're gonna miss something.
Because we did that too. We went too late. We was already locked in. Okay. It was like, now let's do this. Right.
It was a little harder, wasn't it?
It is, because it's confirmation bias, right? It's like, we already said we doing this. So we want you to help us feel better about this. You know what I'm saying? We're not really trying to dig through the dirt for real. We really coming for you to say, all right, y'all good, because we good. We already rolling.
Right. They like, well, that ain't what we come to say. You're jacked up, buddy. And the other person knows, they're like, he is. I knew he was, but he really is.
You know what? To really though, we're gonna have to bring that. If we could play that one twice. That's such a good point though, because if you don't, and you go in there late, like, let's say y'all got some issues. You didn't really talk about it yet. You locked in. You a week, 2 weeks away from the wedding, you go into marriage counseling, you're not really gonna accept. Every time you start creeping up towards something, you're gonna be defensive. Because now it's something on the line.
Right.
You done put the whole wedding at stake.
My uncle flying in from San Diego.
For real.
His whole family.
Man, I never thought about that
back.
before. That's deep. Yeah, move that up.
Please move it up. Go in open. Don't be lying. And go in with the notion that just maybe you aren't ready. Just maybe that's not your person. It's gonna save you a lot of heartache. I know in the beginning it might sting, but baby, it's gonna sting worse if you get married and it's not right.
You just exploded my brain on that one. Man, yeah. You know, another thing I think should happen before marriages, before weddings. I'm not a big bachelorette party fan. I ain't trying to, you know, old man rain on nobody's parade or nothing, but don't it seem like, even if we don't get rid of those, but what if you add in one more thing? Like
like what?
A council. Where you get to sit down with some older married folks who are healthy.
That's juicy.
That could tell you some things. I ain't talking about your auntie and uncle and them who might be trying to discourage you, or somebody that's really gonna throw some toxicness on you. But it's like some people who really know what they're talking about.
I want to do that next time.
Yeah.
It won't just bless you, but every woman in the room.
Yes.
Every man in the room. Oh, like a village.
Yes.
That's so cold.
That's how, and this is, I say this all the time because, you know, as black folks, we always go back to it's supposed to be a village. You know why we don't have a village? Because our village ain't healthy. We don't trust our own village, and rightfully so. Why would we? You know what I'm saying? So we got to heal and take steps to get back to the village mentality. That. And this is the kind of thing I think we should start doing. Yeah.
I love that. I love that whole idea simply because of the healing that in that space that is for everyone. Because you're going to have that woman or that man there who would not have been able to have their heart issues addressed. And they're just sitting there nodding like, man, this is really feeding me life right now. Yeah. And so it's not just my day. This is our moment to sit amongst the wise to be poured into about this very serious thing.
The real, not the pretty.
Yeah, the real. Marriage, the things that you go through in the marriage, they are real. And 9 times out of 10, you have to be intentional about finding the people who will hold your arms up. Yeah. Because people are waiting. I don't know why they got married. Give it a year. See how Wendy Williams made a bet about Kanye and Kim. She's like, I eat a whole bird if they last more than a year. You have more people against you than who are for you. So you must find your tribe. And that's one mistake I know we made. We did not have married friends. We did not do married things. We did not get to know one another. So instead of fighting back to back like this, we fighting each other. I'm surprised we was married for 16 years. We was hit. Yeah. You was hit. I was hit. What's going on? But this next time, no, Jay.
You got hey. Y'all know.
I mean, that would be nice.
Single,
to just like pump it up
and ready to mingle.
Pump. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad to have done the work.
Fellas, y'all better be doing y'all work.
Do your work.
You know she ain't taking no half-stepping duels, man. Y'all already know.
I can't afford it. I just can't. Emotionally and mentally, I can't afford it. You know?
Healthy boundaries. Y'all better know all of this. If you don't, man, listen to this show, read some books.
Right, like, yeah, baby. So episode number 3 when you said that, I'm like,
y'all already see? She done gave y'all the tip.
Right. Coin. So this mental wealth, coinage. It's all kind of coinage going on. Get with my stuff.
Y'all better use it.
Episode 2 when you and Jay were talking about. He might be the one.
Might be the one. Get you a step closer. I'm just saying. All right, so we got a couple of topics kicked into us.
Oh boy!
Shout out again to Kenya Hampton of North Carolina. One, should we go in order, or do you want to pick these?
Pick the hardest one. I'm not gonna look. You pick the hardest one because what's hard to him may not necessarily be hard to me because I'm a female. But you know how they.
This one is defining what marriage is to us both. We kind of hit that already.
Okay. Yes, we did.
So this one, why it's okay if your spouse is not your best friend yet?
So she's saying if they are not, then that's okay. I'm gonna let you hit that one first. Go ahead. No, my brother.
All right. I'll say this.
Is it okay?
I'm gonna preface this with my fundamental fact about marriage. Life is crazy. There's 8 million stories and 1 million more behind that. So there is never a universal truth in one blanket scenario that works for everybody.
I think I know where you're going.
But I will say, yeah, I think it is fine if your spouse is not your best friend. You don't have to have everything in common. Every person is so different. So when you take two people and match them, that pairing is even more unique, right? So it's like that's a thing that doesn't exist anywhere in the universe. You don't really know what's going to work for them. You know, that's why I try not to ever really judge another marriage because you're talking about two very unique people with their own experiences trying their best to make it work and take this holy matrimony thing and make it work. And we know this is the most difficult thing for humans to do, which is why God wants it to be a sacrifice to him. Yeah. So yes, you don't have to be. I don't think you can put that kind of rule to say you got to be best friends soon. You know, 9 times out of 10, it probably works that way. If y'all stay together and really successfully make it, y'all probably do end up realizing, man, we may not have a whole lot in common, but at the end of the day, we went through enough and we loved each other enough and we sacrificed for each other enough. There is nobody closer to me than that person. That is my best friend. It may redefine your vision of what a best friend is. You know what I mean? But yeah, absolutely. I don't think it has to be like, oh, this person, we get along great and we can talk about everything and we're best friends.
Idealistic stuff.
Yeah.
Next time I'm going first because he took all my points. That's what I get.
You did.
Someone saying go first. I'm like, now I'm going to defer this one to you, Coach Big Bro. He took my stuff. So I did want to say that the definition of a best friend is so different to different people. Yeah. I feel like you, just watching you and Denise's marriage and behind scenes as well as on social media, that you two are definitely best friends. Yeah. And that when you all may bump heads, which I've never known of a time they didn't bump heads, because he's saying something like that. You know, they communicate, right? That the friendship outweighs the love. It's like, because this is my friend, because this is my best friend, I respect her. Right now as my wife, she didn't got on my nerve, but she's my best friend. And so sometimes to be able to defer to that friendship, that foundational friendship, is a good thing. Also, you said the other thing that I was going to say, that as long as no one is closer to you than your spouse, you call them what they look. You can label it whatever you want to, but just you ain't having females that I don't know nothing about. Oh, that's my friend from work. Bring her to the house.
Bestie.
No, bring her to the house.
Bestie.
bring her to the house. Bring her to the house. You know what I'm saying? There needs to not be the risk of any open doors because someone is closer to me than my spouse. I don't care what you call them. My spouse needs to be in their rightful place. And I believe in God, husband, wife, children, which is why, single ladies, you don't want to marry a fool. Because if you believe, and this is what I love what you said, like, if you don't believe in God, it's difficult to even think that you're going to be successful in marriage. And most people who don't, they still use godly principles as in order. When I look at a man, I'm looking at how he makes decisions. I'm looking at his leadership skills, because I'm seeing in the future, if I marry him, he's going to be the leader of my home. I got kids. I can't bring a fool in there to leave my kids. And so that whole idea of being able to have your spouse in their rightful place and be in a respectful place, that's huge, because men do not like to be emasculated. They do not. Facts. I had a few people where the woman has called the man the B word, and very difficult to repair that. And I don't know what it is about the B word when we say that to a man that really wounds him. But ladies, don't. We're not doing that. We are still the builders of our home. We are co-laborers and builders of our home, and words hurt. And sometimes you cannot come back from those things. I didn't mean it. I was just angry. Man, marriage is work. Period. It's work.
It is work. It is work.
It's good work.
I remember back in the olden days, back in my 20s, you know, when you start dating and people actually, you know, trickle the word marriage out there every now and again. I remember it was always like the common thought was it shouldn't have to be work. When you get married, it should all be natural. Remember that? Shouldn't have, if you gotta work at it, then you're not with the right person.
You are so right. That was the cliche.
Let me tell you something. Complete BS.
Yeah.
Complete nonsense.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I forgot about
but
that.
This is the thing I always think about. When you look back at that and we believe that and bought into that, no wonder we had such hard times.
Yeah.
We look at what we was buying into as our doctrine for life. You know what I'm saying? Because like I always go back to this. Like people may not believe in God, but like you said, almost everybody does, right? You do.
Some form
in some form or fashion, right? But even if you don't submit yourself to that kind of thing in your life consciously, you still got a doctrine for how you live. And this was our doctrine growing up. We believe stuff like that, right? We gotta be natural. It should be organic. We should
Baby, it's work.
Look, anything worth something is gonna be work.
So Jay, answer me this. What do you think is the core of the work? Like, is it communication? Is it the sacrifice? Well, what is the work of marriage? When we say work, because you know, I need some coins. What do you think is the work of marriage?
Sacrifice. It's the sacrifice, the empathy, seeing outside of yourself. You know, when Jesus said the two commandments that matter most is to love God with your mind, heart, and soul, love your neighbor the way you love yourself. We never really dig deep into the meat, like the way you love yourself. That's what we're supposed to be doing with our spouse. And even beyond that, not loving them the way we love them more, right? Like we're sacrificing ourselves, what we want.
Yeah.
It has to come backseat to the union. And that's not meaning I'm putting my spouse above me, but my union goes above me, right?
So what's best for the marriage?
What's best for the marriage? Because that is the sanctimony, right? When you when you walk the aisle and they ask you to say vows, those vows are not to the other person. That's what people get mistaken. You're not saying vows to your spouse. You're saying vows to God. You're vowing to God to do this thing with this person for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right? We always be thinking it's all about them. No. Everything in life is about us and our relationship with our Creator. I don't care what you want to call him. I don't care if you don't even want to believe in him. You know you were created from somewhere. And everything you go through in this journey is about that relationship. And marriage even more so, because what makes it hard work is you're going to have to hear some things you don't want to hear.
A mirror.
You're going to have to grow in ways you don't want to grow. They don't feel good.
No.
You're going to have to, because here's the thing. I'm human, which means I'm wrong sometimes. Probably more than I'm willing to admit.
Right, then at home like sometimes.
Exactly. More than I'm willing to admit, I'm wrong. My wife, more than she willing to admit, is wrong.
Yeah.
Two people that's like that.
Yeah, how does that work?
Gotta come together and admit to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
And not only admit to be wrong, sometimes I have to allow my wife to be wrong. Because who am I to stunt her journey in trying to do something? I could be just as wrong as her. Here's the thing people forget. Two people can both be wrong.
Yeah.
She might go about something wrong and I come interrupting her with another wrong.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? What is that?
God, like, excuse me, can you console me so I can tell both of y'all you wrong?
Exactly.
Which is why prayer is so easy.
So big.
My ex-husband and I, even though, check this out, I was assistant pastor at one point and he was an elder. We never prayed together. What?
Yeah,
you're leading other people in the church and you cannot lead your own home. You cannot lead your own flesh. We never prayed together.
Yeah, it's
never.
super important. You know, it's hard. Prayer is hard in today's society, period. And I wasn't a great prayer. I didn't do prayer good. Wasn't my strong suit. I couldn't.
Right.
I was like, how do you say it? What do you say?
I talk to him in the bathroom.
Am I doing it myself? Am I saying it in my head? Do I? But now I'm a prayer leader.
Yeah. Oh,
and I pray
beautiful.
for people all the time. And I get comments
Amazing.
like just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, this lady was like, do you operate in a prophetic anointing? And I was like, I got to go find out what that really means before I answer your question. I don't know.
Are you investigating?
I don't know.
We'll
yes, right? But I'm open to that kind of thing. But here's the thing. I wasn't always good at praying.
Yeah.
But prayer in marriage is vital, man. And I'm going to keep saying, I know we keep going back to the belief. But the thing you're going to have to learn, anybody learns about listening to this show, me and Clo are pretty unapologetic about our belief. We're not telling you got to believe the same thing we do, but we know what we've seen in life and we stand strong on it.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And there's no reason to back off that, right? You say what you feel. Because when I was a non-believer, I saw people do that. And that's the only reason why I was able to gain any belief, because there was people around me who were unapologetic and willing to expose me to that. So I do think it's important that we stand on what we believe. We're not saying y'all are all wrong or anybody who disagrees with us is wrong, but we're not going to be apologetic about our beliefs at all.
Yeah. So if not prayer, right? If a person doesn't want to use that word, this is what I'm seeing in my head, that it's the being on the same page part. And if we are both wrong, like you said, she's wrong, you're wrong, the ability to humbly drop your rocks and attempt to get on the same page, right? Which to me, I know it's true. It's harder when you don't have a prayer life. I'm just, to me, okay? But if we don't want to use the word prayer, marriage is that, like you said, that sacrifice of, I'm going to sacrifice, even if I'm right, wrong, I'm going to sacrifice my logic, my argument, my rhetoric, and I'm going to try to get on the same page. Because this is just like you said, and I said, remember this example, Clo, when you start talking about marriage. He said, you got to row at the same time to get that full power, to get that full momentum. And so when you feeling that in your marriage, you ask yourself, are we rowing at the same time? Or am I like a little bit behind him? Or am I a little bit behind her? It's, are we rowing at the same time? AKA, are we on the same page about what this thing is supposed to look like? Whatever y'all say it's supposed to look like, because it's different for everybody. Are we on the same page? Are we rowing at the exact same time to really achieve that power and that unity?
Yeah. And I'll take it a step further, because that's beautiful. The rowing is working on yourself. You got to dig into yourself.
Coins.
It's here.
Coins.
Trust me, it is here. I always give this one example. I remember when I first started working in the corporate world, how email is. You know how I can get. Hey, come on. Where my black folks at? Y'all know how I get when we out there, man. Somebody sends you, as per my last email. Hey.
I do stuff like that.
When somebody gives you as per, when you get as per, you talk about bars now. You spitting at me. Spit, right? So here's the thing. Like I remember when somebody used to call me out, right? I remember getting super defensive about emails. And I would be like, and worked up, like, gotta breathe through this before I respond back. Yeah. That was me in my 20s. Me in my 40s, I've come to a realization. Almost every single time I got defensive, I was wrong. I was never right.
Yeah, that happens.
Whenever I'm right, I'm pretty diplomatic. I don't know why, right?
Right,
I'm
because I'm right.
Right? I'm right. When I get worked up and I'm defensive, man, and so now I know that's a coin for me in my own life.
Yes.
To manage my life better. Jay, when you feeling defensive, you might want to check yourself, because in the past, 90% of the time, you've proven to be in the wrong somewhere.
So has that worked for you in the marriage?
Absolutely.
To just sit back and feel like,
absolutely,
you might be wrong.
When I feel that emotion coming up, I'll be like, whoa. In the past, this happened because I'm doing something wrong here. I'm trying to hide something. I haven't been honest all the way about something. And trust me, for dudes, this is one of the traps that we fall into. Dudes, we don't like our wife to be upset. We don't like conflict. Men do not like conflict.
They really don't. I try to tell my ladies
prevent you from being upset, I'm gonna tell you everything.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Makes sense to us, right?
And not having full telling stuff is just like lying. I'm trying to think of my big English teacher words, and I just can't.
I learned
we almost out of time.
It is lying by omission. I learned that because I was guilty of it all the time.
We don't like that. Don't do that.
Men like to put everybody on a need to know basis. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing:
if we do it to y'all go crazy.
When it's your wife, they need to know everything. Because here's the way most women like to work. Give me all the info and let me decide which ones was key.
That's me.
And which one's what. Mm-hmm. I had to learn that the hard way.
All the information, please, sir. Even if you think it's gonna hurt.
Even if you think it's going, even if you think it's insignificant, because one of the things we like to do is deem something insignificant conveniently, so we ain't gotta tell you because it's probably gonna make you mad. Let's just be real. All right, you should. I didn't even think you would be worried about that. So I ain't say nothing.
We talking about marriage. That's what we talking about marriage. They get off topic. No, we didn't. We talking about marriage.
This is real because I want to talk about the real stumbling block, right?
Yeah.
The real stumbling block is honesty, sacrifice. So our marriage don't look clean for nobody. It's a battle.
Yes.
Love is a battle.
It is.
Life is a battle. Mm-hmm. It's just like everything else. Yeah. But if it means something to you, you train up and you go into that battle.
Come on.
But here's the key about marriage. Mm-hmm. You can't win. Mm-hmm. Y'all can only win. Neither one of y'all can win by yourself.
I love that.
You can't. In I don't care the smallest argument, trust me, you can't win. Mm-hmm. Only y'all can.
I like that.
So you got to always try to find a way. How do we win?
How do we win? What's best for the marriage?
Yes.
Not what's best for my ego, because I know Jesus is going to say, what last words do you have for him, Clo? These are my last words. And I'm just piggybacking on what he said. What is best for the marriage, even if it means I need to sacrifice being right. I need to sacrifice moving. I need to sacrifice doing something like, I do not like to do that. Babe, I've been asking you for years to do this with me. I don't like that. And if it's sacrifice, I got to learn more. I got to learn my partner's love language. Please, www.5lovelanguages.com. Know your partner's love language. That's a whole nother show, but it's so important. It's sacrifice. It's learning. How can I grow? How can I be intentional about growth that is going to best impact my marriage, not get me what I want? So, takes a lot of intention, a lot of sacrifice. A lot of fighting, but it's so worth it. I know that even as a divorced woman, it is so worth it. You see how happy he come in here smiling and stuff. His wife making him happy. Yeah. They doing the work.
Well, here's the key, right? I'm happy because of situations. She's not making me happy, right?
Okay.
No person can make you happy.
That's right. That's right.
Because I could be all jacked up and everything she do wouldn't work, right?
You're right.
So the key is, I would leave you with this last picture, right? Like imagine y'all in a room together. And you handcuffed together. Mm-hmm. You win the argument, that means you knocked her out. Mm-hmm. If she win the argument, she'd have knocked you out. Mm-hmm. How y'all gonna get out, right? Mm-hmm. Now you dragging her. Y'all handcuffed. But you gotta drag the other person. You don't want to win. Because winning means she losing.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you win, he losing. You coming together, you learn what means something. Try, how do I be a blessing instead of how do I get my point off?
Come on.
How can I be a blessing in this situation? Through my role. I'm a husband. I got certain things that I can do in a situation to be a blessing. Like you said, I know my wife's love language. It is acts of service. I know we might be fighting. We might be getting on each other's nerves. I'm going to go wash the dishes. I'm going to go clean up the house. I'm going to go do an act of service because you know what? Even if I can't bring myself to say I'm sorry yet, you can still do something. And I learned that from my homeboy, Jason Carter. Shout out to Jason Carter. You can still do something. So go do that thing. Bless her in some way, right? Serve. That's how we can do.
I like that.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that. Excellent. Thank you for being here with us today. We hope you got some coin. Not hope. We hope
y'all got some
you're
coins.
intentional with your coins because we know you got some coins.
And by the way, we do want to interact with y'all more. So here's what we want y'all to do, because we know we had a ton of meat in this topic. Do we need a part 2? Yeah. Y'all hit us up. Hit us up on the Facebook page. Hit us up on our Instagram feed. Let us know. Do you want us to hit this again? If so, what do we need to cover in part 2?
What did we miss in part 1?
What did we
Drop
miss?
the questions.
Tell us. Do you like my sweater?
You know what? That is not a part of the commentary. Yeah. It's fly though. It's fly.
Blessed on this bad boy. It's got like gold chains and leaves. Come on.
This marijuana leaves? Oh, no. Okay, no. Okay.
Hey, we ain't going there with the marijuana topic. That's a whole nother show.
Thank you all for being here with us.
Different kind of mental wealth, man. Thanks for joining us, y'all. Yo, we love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. As always, join us again, man. I know what it is.
Thank you. Peace.
Yo, what's good, young lions? My generation ain't really teach you what we should, young lions. Just know when we was rapping about the hood, we wasn't lying. Don't really gotta explain what's understood, young lions.